Here we are with our map of Macomb County. Want to point out a couple of things here for you. Right here is the Finch house. Across the way, the Radleys. Here's that tree. The school is up above there. Down along this way is where the Yules live at the dump. This is Calpurnia's church, a little further down the road, and the black settlement. We have the Finch's house, we have Miss Maudie's, we have Miss Stephanie's, Miss Rachel, down here Mrs. Du Bois, Cecil's house. Here's the town, the post office, Atticus's office, the courthouse, and this is Macomb County. So the kids had gone to the Halloween party, show, all of that, up here at the church. They cut across down here, and it was at the Radley's house that he came out as he heard the scream and carried Jem over here to home. The question is, as Mr. Tate was talking, and he said he was insistent that Jem did not stab Mr. Yule, which is true, that he fell on a kitchen knife. Mr. Tate said the story was going to be that Mr. Yule probably found a kitchen knife in the dump, and he honed it down, and he used that to try to kill the kids. But he also had a switchblade on him. Mr. Finch said, "Where did you get that?" And he said, "I took it off a drunk man this evening," which is also probably true. It is highly likely that it was the switchblade that Mr. Yule had and that he was using to cut that chicken wire of Scout's costume and to go after Jem. It's likely the kitchen knife came from Boo Radley. And he says to Mr. Finch, it is not nice to put a spotlight on Boo Radley. All he was doing was something nice. And it would be a sin to shine a light on it. And Atticus is upset. At first he thinks that Mr. Tate is trying to cover up for Jem and that Jem had done it. And he slowly begins to realize that that is not the case. Mr. Tate says on page 369, "I never heard tell that it's against the law for a citizen to do his utmost to prevent a crime." And he says, if I said what happened, do you know what would happen? All of the ladies in town, including my wife, would be knocking at his door with angel food cakes. And to my way of thinking, taking the one man who's done you and this town a great service and dragging him and his shy ways into the limelight, to me, that is a sin. To kill a mockingbird is a sin. So here comes Boo, hearing everything, comes out to help, comes out to save, has a weapon, and takes care of Mr. Yule and saved those children. She had gone and she walked Boo Radley back home, and she wasn't going to hold his hand even though she was a little girl. She had been learning from her aunt proper ways of doing things. Whether she liked to learn it or not, she still learned it. So she had him put his arm out so she could take it right here at the elbow, so she could take his arm and walk him across the street, which she did. And that was the last she saw of him. She stood there and she reviewed all of the things that we read in this book. Them playing out in the front yard, the shooting of the dog, the watching them walk down to meet up with Atticus, them fighting, Dill standing at the street pole right here the things in the tree, and she stood in his shoes. She says at a point here, that he had given them all kinds of things. Neighbors bring food with death and flowers with sickness and little things in between. Boo was our neighbor. He gave us 2 soap dolls, a broken watch, and Shane a pair of good luck pennies, and our lives. But neighbors give in return. We never put back into the tree what we took out of it. We had given him nothing, and it made me sad. So my question to you is, did they actually give him nothing? If we were in class, I would have a lot of you probably giving answers and telling me what you think. I think that he got quite a bit from them. I think that he enjoyed. And I think even the Scout said it, that he considered them like their kids. He gave them those things because he was enjoying watching them. He could be a part of the neighborhood without having to go out and be around people. What a gift that was. And to make him feel belonged. And I think even if that wasn't enough of a gift, I think the fact that she treated him as well as she did when she finally saw him. When they went out to the porch, she had him go over into where it was darker and more alone. She let him go in. She suggested that he go and see Jem and that he can touch Jem. That also would have been a great gift for this man, I think, to feel accepted. And think of all the people in town. Like when we read that last bit, she said Dr. Reynolds acted as if he saw Boo Radley all the time. He probably has seen him several times a year for different various reasons and ailments within the family, and not ever even thought about it. And heck, Tate. Keep in mind the ages of all of these people. Hecate is slightly younger than Atticus. Atticus is, 50-ish. And when they talk about Boo Radley, and also Miss Maudie, she's around 50-ish. Miss Crawford, Miss Rachel are all probably around that age. And Boo Radley is also probably pretty close into that age. So even though some of them, like Miss Maudie and Atticus, were at French's Landing, not all of them grew up there. Some of them grew up around where Arthur Radley lived in Macomb County and probably knew him at one point. So they're all actually peers and would know each other in that way. It's just the kids that don't know the other Arthur Radley. Interesting how all of the family's work and all of the family stories, the Yules are out there at the dump like they're trash. They are poor, but they're poor in heart, not just wealth. The Cunninghams may be poor, but they are rich people in how they deal with things, how they see, how they accept, and that's a big deal. And you have the kids who live in town as opposed to the kids who are bused. The kids who are bused are going to be your country kids, not necessarily very poor, but maybe. The kids in town aren't all necessarily rich either. The Depression is on. Everybody is in some kind of a struggle. And this is the world. To Kill a Mockingbird And that's the title of the book. And I know this is probably backwards, but the idea is it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. Tom Robinson didn't do anything, and he probably didn't even really try to escape. But he was killed for that. He was killed because he was a black man. And Boo Radley didn't do anything either. Now, I mean, we don't know what he did when he was a kid. He probably caused some ruckus, but not all of the things that he was accused of. And he, as Hecate says, he did a very good thing tonight, and he doesn't deserve to be punished. The punishment wouldn't be going to jail. The punishment wouldn't be a trial. The punishment would be any kind of attention. And that is where Heck says, nope, 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 nope. So, you guys, that is the end of this book. I have missed being able to read it in class and see your reactions and hear your reactions. Some of you maybe loved it. Some of you maybe didn't. Even if we read it in class, that would have been the case. It really is such a lovely story as this young girl grows. When we first met her, she didn't view the world around her the way she did at the end. She probably would not have treated Arthur Radley the way she did there at the end if she had met him way back at the beginning of the book before she even went away to school. It's a timely lesson, even though it was written a long time ago. And it's about a rough period. It was written in the 60s when people who were black, women, other ethnicities were fighting very hard for their freedom and their rights. And it was written about the 30s when that same thing was also going on. This basically ends our semester. There's going to be a test, and I'm going to be having you answer a brief question in the form of a project, of which I will be posting, and you will learn about, and you will be able to get that done. So you have quizzes for this week to finish up, and then the following week, our last week of school, will be just one last thing to do and to get finished up for this. Pretty exciting. We've kind of all been on fake summer, but real summer is coming. Warmth, being able to get out, and hopefully things opening up so that we can see each other. You can see your friends and all that. Wouldn't that be great? Have your own dill come over, hang out. All right, I will see you guys later.